There's one action I take every single day that sets my entire day in motion. What is that activity, and how can you have an activity that sets your day in motion? Let's talk about that today.
Welcome to Advance with Mike Acker, the podcast designed to help entrepreneurs, business leaders, and professionals alike break through barriers by improving their practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Your host is a best-selling author, executive coach, and founder of the Advance Public Speaking School and Advantage Publishing Group, two companies dedicated to providing an edge for leaders. Find out more about Mike at mikeacker.com. Now here's your host, Mike Acker.
Now, I said in the introduction that I do this every day. I was exaggerating a little bit. I do it almost every day, and I haven't always done it every single day. See, I don't want you to be set up for failure by thinking, oh, I got to do it like that person right there. And then you don't match my expectations or my thoughts here, and then you feel like you didn't do it well. So never do that to yourself. Always learn from others and extrapolate the principles that apply to yourself. But what is that motion? What is that activity? For me, it's making my bed. Now, this is a relatively new thing that I've been doing. See, beforehand, I was up, I would go out to the gym, and then I would go off to work. I'd hit the road. I would be going to the office. I served as an executive. I was on the road as consultative salesperson. So it wasn't relevant for me to be at home. My wife was still in bed, and my son would get in there and cuddle with her early in the morning. But now the role has been switched. I get up, I go work out, I come back. My wife is up. She's getting ready for her work. She goes off to work. She brings my son to school. She brings our son to school. And then I'm there. I clean up the kitchen. I set the Roomba so it goes around and it cleans the house. If you have one of those, you either love it or you hate it. We love it. We actually call him Robbie. So it's Robbie the Roomba. Our son named him. So we hardly ever call him Roomba. I almost didn't even call him the right name as I'm talking to you about this. But once I get Robbie in motion, and I might do a couple other chores around 7 o'clock, 7:20 at this point in time, I go into our room and I make the bed. And I don't just make the bed. I mean, I take the sheet off, I take the cover off, I take the pillows off and the extra blanket off. I tighten the sheet, I put on the top sheet, and then I put on the cover, and I flip it back the way my wife taught me, because I didn't exactly know how to make the bed the way I should. Apparently there's a way that you should make the bed. Then I put our 8 pillows up on top, because you definitely need 8 pillows, and then the 2 little fancy pillows, and then the little blanket that goes on in the front. And sometimes as I'm doing this, because it takes a couple extra minutes, I think to myself, why am I making the bed? My family's going to get home. My son and I are going to wrestle on that bed. My wife and I are then going to retire to the bed not much later than that. And so why am I doing this? See, you need an action that sets the day in motion. And there's a couple reasons for you to be able to do this. And I want to walk you through why I make the bed almost every single day. The first reason is this: control. So much of life is out of control. I mean, right now, as I'm filming this, the pandemic's going crazy. It's out of control. There's nothing you can do to solve the world's problem other than do what you need to do to not spread it or not to take it in and take care of yourself. But it's out of control, and the economy's out of control, and the elections are out of control. Yes, we have a voice, but so do millions of others. And so there's so much stress sometimes that comes from out of control situations. And it stresses us out. We hear it in the voice of the person talking. We hear it in our boss or our employees or the situation of our customers. We feel that. There's so much that's out of control. But there are some things that are in your control. And when I make the bed, it reminds me, I am the boss of my bed. That's right, me. I am the boss of my bed. This is my domain. This is my room. I can keep it clean. I can make the bed look nice. Watch me rule the bed. And so I make the bed. I can control very little of how others respond to me. I can control very little of the overall environment around me, but I can control my bed. And as I control the neatness of my bed, it reminds me that I can control my thoughts. I can control my mind. I can control my attitude. I don't have to just let it happen and let it be messy. I have control. What action can you take in the morning that reminds you that you are in control, that you are not a victim, that you are a leader, that you can take the action that you need to take so that you can get the results that you need to get? You can't control how everybody's going to receive it. In fact, I might make the bed and my wife might come home and say, that looks awful. She's never done that, but she could. She could do that. People not always like what you do. And you know what? That's on them. But you can control what you did. From control, it brings me clarity of mind. And what do I mean by that? Now, also when I walk into my office, I always tidy things up. There's a whole thing that's going on with your mind, that your mind is consistently processing decisions. And if you can eliminate some clutter that your mind has to eliminate for it to process well, you will actually make your mind more effective. Now, Steve Jobs famously wore the same black turtleneck well, not the exact same one, right? He washed it. He had different ones. He had a whole wardrobe of them, but he went through and he wore the same thing because it brought him clarity of mind. He didn't have to think through what he was going to wear the next day. It made his decision making so much easier. When I was growing up in Mexico, we went to a private school, and even when I went to a public school there, we had uniforms. So every single day, I knew what I had to wear. Clarity of mind. So when I go in and I have a white space or a blank space, a clear space in my office, in this studio, or in my bedroom, it clears my mind. My mind's not processing the clutter of the room, of the sheets in disarray, of the dishes in disarray. It's able to process that not as another task I need to do, but as something that's checked off. And so it feels great. It brings ease to mind that I have that. Just try it. Every single day, set a motion that you're going to do that is going to set others in motion. We'll talk about that in a moment, but choose what it is. Clear the sink in the morning, or tidy up your room or your office or your car, whatever it might be. And when you do, what you'll see is that you'll have a greater clarity of mind, that it's almost like, hey, I got something done. I have something under control. I can move on with my day. And that brings us to the third huge reason why we should do something like making the bed. It's called cascading actions. What's cascading actions? It's an action that you take that leads to more actions and more actions and more actions. Cascading habits that lead to more habits and more habits and more habits. Now we have cascading habits that go up, and we have ones that go down. Let's talk about drinking. Sometimes when people drink and they get drunk, it leads them to smoke. When they smoke, it leads them to talk in ways that they wouldn't. And it leads them to treat others in a way they wouldn't. And it goes on and on and on. Maybe you've experienced that. There's other cascading habits that go down. Maybe you eat a big, huge, greasy burger with lots of extra fries with cheese on top of it, with a soft drink, and then you followed up with dessert afterwards. And after you had this huge caloric meal, you go home and you go, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to have some more cake. And you just go down and down and down. Thanksgiving was totally like that for me, right? I'm like, forget it. On Thanksgiving Day, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And it just went downhill from there. And the next day, I'm eating half of a pumpkin pie, which is loaded with sugar, for breakfast. Good. Cascading actions down this way. There's other cascading actions that take us up in a different way. For example, when I brush my teeth, then I will often feel like, hey, I brush my teeth, which I do every day. Just want to make sure that's clear. Then I'll floss my teeth, and then I'll shave. And there's just a series of different things I do that cascade for me doing something good. Now, if on a day off, if I don't do that, if I don't get up and I don't brush my teeth, and then I don't floss, and then I don't shower, and then eventually later on, my wife will say, go brush your teeth, right? So I don't know why I'm saying that much personal stuff, and you probably don't even care about it. But let's go back to making the bed. When I make the bed, then afterwards I feel like, hey, good job, Mike. Well done. And then it makes me want to keep the house clean throughout the day, since I work from home most of the time doing virtual presentations, coaching, writing, and speaking, and all of that. It helps me maintain the day. And then when my son comes home, it helps me maintain the process I have for him, helps me maintain the relationship I have with my wife. And so that one motion sets in motion a whole bunch of other actions that are positive. For you, it might not be making the bed. That might not even be up to you. But what can you do? What is some action that makes you feel good about yourself, that makes you want to do another good action? It might be working out. It might be just taking a quick 10-minute walk. It might be the first thing you do is floss your teeth. It's often something different, something a little above and beyond your normal just taking a shower or having breakfast. And from that action cascades a whole bunch of good actions. Now, why is this important in a podcast that's primarily about leadership and communication? Because we need to put our spot, our life, our leadership, our communication under our control. We need to be able to have a clarity of mind to speak and to lead. And we need cascading actions that we're constantly improving and getting better in our leadership and our communication. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make your bed.
Thanks for listening to Advance with Mike Acker, a podcast designed to provide an edge for leaders through improving practical leadership skills and increasing confidence in speaking. Mike is a best-selling author and business owner who has helped many leaders increase their skills and their confidence, propelling them to new heights in their personal and professional endeavors. Join an incredible group of professionals taking the steps to become better leaders at connect.stepstoadvance.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.